morning to everyone and welcome. My name is Zoe Prince. I'm the Regional Director in the Fort Myers office with Alliant Association Management, and we're so glad you could join us today. Today's webinar is titled Reliant on Alliant. Ask the expert with Imran. As more of our communities utilize the Vantaca Homeowner portal, understanding how to navigate its features effectively and become an important part of serving both boards and homeowners. Whether you're looking to answer questions more effectively, more efficiently, or access more information, or simply become really comfortable with using the portal, today's session is designed with you in mind. We're excited to welcome Imran, Alliant's own in-house Vantaca expert. Imran works really closely with our teams to optimize the Vantaca platform and has become our go-to resource for troubleshooting, training, and identifying best practices. His knowledge of the system and practical approach have helped improve the experience for many of our managers, board members, and homeowners alike. Today, Emron's going to walk us through Vantaca Homeowner Portal, highlight key board and homeowner functions, and share helpful tips and best practices. Demonstrate the new chat feature, and conclude with maybe a live Q&A where you guys have the opportunity to type a question, and we'll see if Emron can't walk us through it to make sure your question gets answered. So we really hope you find today's session really informative, interactive, and full of practical takeaways that you can begin using right away. So again, thank you guys so much for joining us and welcome Emron. We're so excited to get going. So the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Zoe. Just like she mentioned, we're going to try to do this more often so we can give constant refreshers to board members. I know that we probably have a lot of seasoned board members on the call, but we also have some of the newer board members who really don't use the portal too often. So that's our main focus is just more education for the board and homeowners as well. So what you see right here is our dashboard for our community, Sunshine Sample Shores. Down here, we have our payment section where we can identify if we're on auto pay, any payments that are due on the account. We have our recent transactions, any payments that were recently done. Down here, we have our inbox, any recent communications like broadcast emails, collection notifications, violation notifications, anything with an email will be here in your inbox section. And then if you keep scrolling down, you have your board actions. So these are all the action items that you'll see that are under your board portal. Over here, you see an ARC section. So this indicates that your community is set up for online ARC voting. And then if you scroll back up, if you had multiple accounts, you can toggle between all your accounts in this drop-down menu up here. Right now, I'm just a board member with just one account, so only one property is being shown. On this dashboard, you will also see this Ask HOAI, and this is that virtual chat agent that Zoe had mentioned. This is the little chat bot where you can ask certain questions, and it'll provide you an answer pretty much right away. So just as an example, we'll start off here. Let's say I want to know what the rules are for fences. And right now, the agent is searching your governing documents or your rules and regulations that are stored in this document section over here on the left-hand side. And it only, took a few seconds for it to formulate your answer, and it pulls up all the regulations for fences inside this community. It gives you the type of fences that are allowed, the height limits, the location restrictions, your related landscaping restriction, and approved required FAQ information, along with some additional notes, and then it provides you the source of where they found that rule. A lot of these questions can be answered with the chatbot, so feel free to just ask it any and all questions that you can. If it ever runs into an issue, it will actually create a service request and assign it to your managing team. And then they'll pick it up and then try to get you the best answer you can. Or it can send a service request if it needs to go to a contracted vendor. Traveling back over here to the left-hand side, you have your payment section. You can click that and it'll provide more information on this page. Here's where you can make your payments, manage the payments, and then download any account statements. You can do a transaction history, your statement, which includes the coupon, any of your future charges, or just a charge summary. So you have all the options to do this yourself instead of having to, wait on your managing team to get back to you. Over here, we have our request tab. This is where you can submit all the types of requests that will go to your managing team. Your ARC request on this page, it actually has the form shortcut on this page, so you won't have to go to the documents section to pull up that form or search all the multiple folders that your community has. You can select that form and download it straight to your device. Most forms, we are trying to make sure that they are completely fillable, so they don't need to be printed out, handwritten, and then scanned and signed or sent back in.
Hey, Emron,
Yeah.
I apologize for interrupting. I just had a request from a board member. They didn't know if there's any way that we can make this larger. I was unaware if
Yeah,
that can be a zoom in. And also on that payment, you just taught me something I didn't know, so thank you.
that's why I'm here. The zoom in option help.
I hopefully board members, for those of you that wanted it a little bigger, hopefully that helps for you.
Okay,
Thanks, Emron. Go ahead. I apologize.
no problem. Up here, we have these fillable areas where you can type in the information that you're applying for. Down here, Vantaca has been listening to us. So here's where we could select a separate property if we had to. So, but right now I only have one unit. So I'm going to go ahead and select that one unit. And then from this drop down, these are the approved categories that owners can submit applications for. So this is where they can select their roof replacement. And then once they have their forms and all the required documents, they can drag and drop the files into this section and press submit form, and it'll go straight to the managing team to finish out the application process. The next type of request that you can submit is a general request, and these are the different questions that you can ask. And then most of these questions already have a dedicated team assigned to these questions. So it goes straight to the person that needs to answer that question. So it doesn't need to be bounced around from, a manager to your accountant back to the manager. We have these set up where it goes straight to the source that has the information and they can answer it as quickly as possible.
That's great. I apologize to interject one more time. We
Yeah.
did have a homeowner talk about the viewing. We have a home or a board member that said that their dashboard is a little different than what we're showing.
Okay.
I don't know.
Um, if we can get the name of that community, we'll make sure that that portal is updated.
I will take down your name, Tracy. Thank you. And we'll get it handled.
Yeah. And this last type of request, we have our actual service requests where we can report any irrigation leaks, any roof leaks, landscaping requests, shrub installation, anything like that. They can type in all that information, select their property, and submit that form, and then it goes straight to the managing team. This next tab, some communities might have this set up and some don't. Right now, we are looking at the reservation tab. So if you had amenities like a clubhouse, this community has a spa that they can reserve, tennis courts. The owners can have the option to come in here and make these reservations. And then depending on the amenity, if it's an auto approve, they can go ahead and make their reservation. And once they press submit, it automatically blocks off that time on the amenity calendar so no other owners can request the same amenity for the same time. And like I said, some communities might not have this, and if this does interest you and you want to get this set up, please let us know. This next tab is your compliance and notices. As a board member, you'll see all the collection notices and any type of violations that are sent to you, as well as to the owners in your board actions section down here. They just have two different shortcuts that you can get to. Your calendar and events, these are where all the community events are happening. Board members actually have the access to go ahead and create the event on this calendar. So if you had, a food truck come into the clubhouse, you can mark your event, title it, select your start and end times. If you want to do a repeat event and just go ahead and schedule it for the rest of the year, you can do your events for, daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. Add your little description. And then you can select the visibility to the public, homeowner, or board only. So depending on whatever the event is, just make sure your securities are set. And once that's done, you press your save event, and then it's posted on that date. And if it's a repeat event, it will show up every week on the same day, whatever you select. And then the same thing goes for the amenity calendar over here. You can see any events or any reservations that are set on the amenity calendar. This next section is your directory. So this is basically the view of a homeowner. These are all the owners that live inside your community. If you ever see any phones or emails listed, that is because that owner had opted in to show their phone and email. A lot of people do want to keep their information private, which go for it. They just need to make sure they come to their My Profile section and set up their information the way that they want it to be listed on here. This document section, here's all the files and information that we make public to the owners. So instead of waiting on management to give them a wind mitigation form, they can come to their portal on that document section and download the file straight from here. We also make sure that we keep all the required documents that Florida makes us have available for all the owners. So we make sure we keep this as updated as possible. So just to come into this folder, click on that folder, and then you can have these files here, which the owner can just download straight to their device. If there is ever a time a board member wants to send them a link to just that file, if they click on the file, it actually populates a new link up here where they can copy that and email it to the owner. And once they do that, it takes them straight to that file and they can download it. Most of the time, we board members can offer that if the person that they're speaking with isn't the best with computers and technology. So anything to speed up that process and get that owner the document that they need, we want to make sure that's available. These next two tabs, these are customized tabs. So if you do want to enhance your portal and add custom tabs, get with us. We will provide a quote for the services. So if you want to have a section dedicated to your board of directors and give the background of your information or of yourself so that owners know who their boards are, we can go ahead and set that up for you. And then we can add multiple tabs on here. I would just need to speak with you, the board, and figure out what you would like to see in that portal and get that situated for you. So this one, we have an Alliant information tab where it shows who their manager is, how owners can reach them. We have their email and their phone number. The Alliant information tab where they can contact Alliant directly, and then the services that we provide. But keep in mind, this is just an example, so we can make this tab whatever you need it to be. So if that interests you, please get with us and we can have a follow-up conversation with you.
Hey, Emron, we had a little question come through, and I am trying to answer as many as your questions on the sidebar in the
Yep.
chat. I don't know, Emron, if you want to pull those up and review, or I'll address those.
Okay.
So some of them I'm able to answer. They can get with their cam afterwards.
Yep.
But we did have a question come through to our chat, and this I believe is something too we'll work on with our collections team. But they said that the association has a 15-day late fee friendly notice requirement. The AR aging on Vanica doesn't always show that this reminder was sent on the fifth, on or after the 15th. Why? And that might be something it because it when you're on the collections portion, or maybe when you get there, we can dig into that.
Okay. It actually might be a timing setting that we would need to update on our end.
Okay, I'll take note of that, Ed.
And moving on here, we have on the FAQ section, most portals have actual videos for owners. Right now, I'm just in a test community, but those videos are how to submit a request, how to change your password, how to update your contact information, just helpful how-to videos that owners can always go to this FAQ page and watch those videos. And now moving down to your board actions for all the board members. So here is where you can see all the actions that you should keep an eye on as a board member. Right now, we will talk about the ARCs. So this community wants to do online voting for ARC applications. Once they have an ARC application that is ready for review, it'll show up here in the My Items page. If they click all items, you'll see any applications that are currently in process of getting finalized to get sent over to the ARC committee. So anything that requires a vote will be on the My Items page. So this one is ready for review. The board member will click on this application. Up here, you have this little paperclip. Once you see this paperclip, it means there's an attachment. So if you click on the paperclip, that will pull up the application that the owner had submitted. So we have our application for the community, has your ARC guidelines listed. Here's the owner's information, the project type of what they are submitting their application for, who their company is, who the primary contact is, all the required information they have filled out. They have their insurance, and then they have a picture of the driveway or the pavers that they are wanting to install. So once you review all the documents that were submitted, if you are the ARC chairperson, you will have the option to go ahead and approve or decline the application. Once the application has been fully completed and it's ready for approval, if you just press approve, it then kicks it over to the managing team to go ahead and send out an approval letter to the owner. And same goes for the denial. If you notice on the application that there was an issue and you don't want to approve it or deny it just yet, and you're wanting to request more information, so as you see on this insurance certificate, their policies expired on the 22nd. So a good tool is this send message option. You can send messages to these followers on the app on the action item. So you can send a message and include the ARC committee and the admin assistant for that property. Type in the issue. and then send a message. And then that goes over to the managing team to go ahead and relay the message to the owner. We could also add the homeowner in this section. We would just need to create them as a follower on the action item. But most of the time, we just try to make sure that the boards communicate with the managing team directly instead of having to get the owner involved. And then the entire communication trail stays on this application. So once you look at it, you will see any communication that was sent to you and the managing team.
Hey, Emron,
Yeah,
can we go ahead and do a little quick pause for some questions? We've got a lot coming in, and some of them may be really specific to your association that we'll have to work offline, and
sure.
some aren't. So, the first question was, does the portal email a notice to the board when an ARC is submitted?
It does. And I will pull up a copy of what the email looks like. When the application is ready for review, it notifies the committee that the application has been submitted and it's ready for review. And we also include the PDF on the email, so the attachments show up both in the email and in the portal, so it doesn't get missed.
Thanks, Emron. That answers that pretty nicely. So another board member asks why there's no scroll option on the left-hand navigation pane. I think if you hover over it and you scroll down, it does scroll. So, Tom, if you want to give it a try later, if not, shoot me an email and I can go in and mimic you and see what's going on. Uh,
Mhm.
and then, Fred, your question in regards to your governing documents. If you just type in what association you're in, I can take a look later to make sure that the folders are set up correctly. So, wow, the questions are coming in. So another board member said, is online ARC processing automatically available or do we need to request that to be activated?
We just need to assign the model to the association. That's all it is.
So if you can get with your Cam Judy later, we can get that going. Let's see. Oh, Scott, I'm glad yours does look like this. I'll take you off the list. And then another Scott says, can the ARC section be used for other approvals besides ARC? For example, can this section be used for a unit owner to submit a rental lease to the board for review and approval?
At this, not yet. It could be an enhancement that we, request it in the future. But we do have an actual online platform that we process all our sales and rental applications.
Yeah, but great question.
Yeah,
A lot of these are even possible ideas for future advancements, like he said. I think there was another one. I just don't want to miss it. Does the ARC team need special access to the portal? That's a good question.
they do. We have to set up the committee on our end. And once the committee is set up on that list, they automatically get the ARC action items. And they have access to all the uh, open, closed applications. It's just a matter of getting them set up. That's all it is.
All right, let's see. This says, any way we can search capabilities by address for violations. Once we get there, I think Emron might be able to hit on that. Then we have a few more. Going back to the calendar, do owners receive an alert if an item is added to the calendar?
They do. Once they add their event on their reservation, once they schedule that amenity, it automatically lets them know that the request was received by the managing team. If it is an amenity that doesn't require any type of deposits that are involved, if it's basically just an auto-approved request, they actually get a email that says your request has been approved. It's on the portal. Please check your portal for further information if there is anything that's involved. But yeah, they get a confirmation email.
Great, thank you. Um, And then the owner asks, is there a way for a monthly basis for board members to see a list of owner addresses that visited the portal? Get with your CAM
Yeah,
can pull some reports and see some logins. So uh, all right, I think that is the last batch. I know some of the owners are hoping that maybe we could answer throughout and some answer at the end. So we'll try and see what we can touch when we're in that for the homeowner questions. Then if not, we'll go backwards. But good point. Thank you.
but I mean that's the purpose of the meeting. Ask all the questions that you have. We want to make sure we get the answers to you.
Yep. Thanks, Emron.
Moving on to your invoices page. A lot of the seasoned board members, they may be aware of the issues that we've been having. I did get a confirmation yesterday that the invoice approvals that were staying on the My Items page has been resolved as of yesterday. So right now I see an invoice on my action items that's ready for approval. We can go ahead and view the invoice either by clicking the action or the little paperclip, or we can actually click view to take us to the GL along with the message page and any recent invoices that were paid to that vendor. Board members, I don't know if you are aware, if you notice that the wrong GL or the bank account is assigned, board members have the option to go ahead and correct that. They would click on the edit button over here, select the correct bank account, select the correct fund, and select the correct GL account. Whenever you make your changes, just please add a note of what you did so that our team can see it on our end on the action item as well. Over here on the message section, you can see the entire communication trail between the vendor and our team. You can see it keep scrolling up, and then you can actually see a copy of the invoice when you press view attachment. And if there was multiple attachments, they would be included, but most of the time we keep it to one. And then once you notice that all the information is good, you can go ahead and approve your invoice. This next step goes to check for signature approval. You can disregard this because this is for our team to go ahead and process the rest of the invoice and just press submit. And now it goes over to our payables team. And then this next closed section, if there were any closed out invoices, you can see it here. And now we'll move on to the work orders. So this is a pretty quiet community. There's only 3 work orders open for this community. But we come to this section. Right now, you see a work order that's brand new and is currently assigned to the admin. You can go ahead and see what the issue is. This owner is reporting a broken sprinkler. If there was a picture that was on that work order, it would be included. And if you want to go ahead and send a message to the manager, mark the importance. And now the manager is going to get a message in their dashboard saying, hey, please get eyes on this. Please send it right away. And then now we see the ones that are currently assigned and pending. And then you can see the communication trail between us, the homeowner, and the vendor. And then these tabs, pretty similar. If there's any closed out work orders, you see it on the closed tab. You could do the last 30 days, 6 months, year, or all time. This next tab is your collections tab. Here's all the owners that are currently have a collection action item open. Whenever you are on your dash or on these tabs, whenever you see these 3 little lines, these are called columns. If you click on these columns, you can add and remove any column that you want to be shown or hidden on this page. Once you have the columns set up to your liking, come over here to your little gear icon and then press Save Grid Settings so you don't need to do it every single time you go into your portal. So with this collection action item, you can press View and you can see the communication trail between our collections team. All the information is documented on the action item, so you can see everything. Moving on to your homeowner tab. Um, just keep in mind, since you are a board member, this homeowner tab is going to be a lot different than this directory. Since you're a board member, you have access to more information. And the same thing goes for this columns. Go ahead and add and remove any columns here. So let's say if you are speaking, with a neighbor and they're saying, "Hey, I'm not getting any response from Alliant on this action item." If they provide you this XN number, you can actually go to their account, find that XN of what they are referring to, and you can actually look at the information. Click on the action item, and it'll take you to the entire communication trail between Alliant and that owner. You can see their summary and any transactions all the payments that they had made. And then on this include closed section, this will pull up any closed action items that were sent out. So if the owner is saying, I didn't get the email about the upcoming seal coating project, you can actually come to their portal and you'll see that they did get the message. And if they responded, you would actually see their response to a line as well. So just if you ever come across an owner's page and you don't see the action item posted, just press include closed and it'll pull up all the closed out action items. Down here, we have the bank account information. Here's you can see your operating and your savings account, whatever bank accounts are listed here. Click on view to take you to that bank account. Any information that's available will be shown here. The next section is your reports. Here we have access to run all these different types of reports. ARCs, if you want to know the recent owner transfers that have happened inside the community. Any report that you see, go ahead and press view, and you can customize your dates up here. Once you press preview, it'll run the report. Let's do violations.
Imran, let me know when you want to pause for a few Q&As.
Oh, okay, I'm ready.
Well, you finish this and then we'll go.
Okay. It's just the reports. As long as you're keeping, change your dates, you have the options to go ahead and sort it, show all the information that you want to see on this report. If you want to see just the step changes or all notes or just the description, select everything that you would like, and you can sort it by these street numbers, street name. Go ahead and press preview, and it'll formulate your report. Once you have the report, you can go ahead and download it to your device. Yeah. What's
Awesome.
up?
So, all right, this is a really great question. Does someone get a notification if an email to an owner bounces back? And I can even speak to that. We don't get a specific direct bounce back email. However, our system is so robust and transparent that we can go into the email that we might have just sent and view and be able to pinpoint what emails were opened, what emails were sent, what emails did bounce back. So if there's ever a question on a specific email, get with your CAM and they can do that research to make sure that you get that detail. Okay, another question was, let's go back. So are invoices visible to president and treasurer only?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Are invoices visible to only the president and treasurer?
Mm,
No.
that's whoever the board invoice approvers are.
Correct. However, as a board member, you have the rights and you have the access to view all the invoices, but you don't have those approval rights. Like Emron stated, only the invoice approvers are.
And those invoice approvers, they are set up on our end by your managing team.
Hmm. So, let's see another one. So, one of our Scots has maybe, I don't know if you guys ever seen this, but he goes to open a work order request and he receives an error code. So I don't know if that might be something just a glitch right now that's a failed to fetch dynamically imported module. Scott, if you want to try that again later, and then you can email me and we can figure out if that is something's going on. I know Emron just did it and didn't get that same error code, so that's unique. Um, So another board, if two officer approval is required, how do we see all payments, approvals, or denials?
That would you can see it's kind of harder to show on this. It is a sample community. But under this closed tab, you can see all the payments that were done. So anything that was sent out and paid, check your closed tab on your invoices section and you can see the invoices that were paid out.
Yep. So all those open are the ones that haven't been paid. Closed, as Emron stated, are closed. Okay. So we have another one. So we did that one live. Sorry, just going there's a lot, and I love it.
Yeah.
Is the bank account information live or as of the end of the previous month?
Mm, if
I
we can
believe
get your name, I would have to follow up with you. I'm not entirely sure.
so. That is Mr. Shoemaker, and I believe it is live as long as it's completely interfaced with one of our partnered banking
Hmm.
systems. So obviously, if you have an outside bank through like an Edward Jones, we obviously do not have access to those, and those are not integrated with our system. But as long as it is partnered bank, they are pretty current to the date. Let's see. Let's see. Blair. Okay, sorry, I'm taking other notes on this. When a board member changes to the GL and the invoice appears to disappear for approval by a board member, does changing the GL code require the CAM to approve before the board member can approve again?
Nope. As long as you formulate, change all your information and you make your note, our payables team actually sees all the corrections that you had done and they see it on their end. So it wouldn't have to go back for reapproval.
Yep. Now, if you just put a note in there and don't actively change it, then
Then,
it will have to.
yep,
I feel like there was another one I just saw. Says, I assume it is Alliant's intent to reduce the number of homeowner telephone call requests or for information or help. As a result, will Alliant be able to reduce the time it takes for return calls?
that is our end goal. We hear all the feedback from our clients and we're as you're seeing, we're trying to implement as many tools as possible to make sure we get the information back to the owner. And if it requires, more time to actually provide a return phone call, as long as we can handle 98 other things and focus on, those two items, we want to make sure that we can get it covered.
Awesome. And I do have a good note to say that Scott logged out, logged back in, and his error issue was solid. So maybe it was just something with the
Okay.
internet. But I feel like I saw another one. On the close menu, why doesn't it show when the invoice was paid? It's a great.
Mhm. That is good.
So if you actually, I'll let Emron take it. He's in there. What is it?
And that's a good question because that would be an enhancement that we can request.
Yeah.
Basically, add a column to show that it was paid.
I believe what I do is when I go in and I look at for instance, if you were to go to my items, You know how you were showing us earlier where um, the notes were where you can follow the tracking of the invoice? It will go in there and it'll state paid by check 33727 on 7/26, 2026. So that's a good location to kind of get a really good idea of when that check was cut.
Mhm.
And if you reach out to myself or your local regional or your CAM, we should have a pretty good idea of the way the mailing system sends out for the timing of when that check would be released. Um, okay. We have another one. So another board member asked if this offer this webinar again with more notice to attend. That's a great. We did email this out about 2.5 weeks ago, and I've kind of just been hammering it through. But yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think we should plan to offer this webinar because, as you can see, the multitude of questions and the things we're learning and the different enhancements that occur. Great idea to have it being maybe quarterly or something like that until every single one of you are Vantaca experts yourself, which would be amazing.
That's what I would like to see. I
Oh
want to make
yeah.
sure everyone, you're paying for a service. We have the tools that are available for board members, and we want to make sure you can use it as easily as possible.
Yep. So another board member, work order questions. Both work orders in our portal say advance to manager. Where does it go from there? And once the manager resolves it, do they close out the request?
So I assume whenever the work order comes in, if the most of the time if the admin can't handle it, they will get it over to the manager. Most of the time the manager has a primary contact that they will go ahead and send that work order to. It involves another step. So they would step it to what our action item is called send to service provider. And once they send it to that service provider, it basically transfers the information that the owner put in on their request. It just copies and pastes the text, puts it onto a work order, and then we provide the vendor specific instructions. Like if there was an additional note, please contact the home watch company for access. Uh, that provider gets all that information right there in the email. And then it goes to the primary email we have on file for that vendor, but there is another section that they can go ahead and send it to the secondary. So basically, if you had an account manager specifically for irrigation and not necessarily landscaping, they would select them from that drop-down menu, and then it goes over to that provider. It sits there in a holding step for about 2 weeks. Whenever that step whenever it comes to the 15th day, I'm just using that as an example. The admin or the manager gets an action item on their dashboard indicating, hey, you never got a response from the provider. Go ahead and follow up with them to make sure that that work order was completed. And it just basically sends a reminder to that provider. And once they reply, it comes back to the manager or the admin saying, yep, I completed it on Thursday. And then your managing team can go ahead and close out that work order. Once they close out that work order, it sends a notification to the owner as well saying, yep, the work was done. If you want to look at the history, please visit your portal.
Awesome. So we have a few more and then we can get back into it.
Yep.
So actually, Barbara has a question, and I did somehow review my emails and saw some of her questions come through. So she is asking them here. So thank you, Barbara, for kind of transitioning them here. On the closed invoices, most times it's just the check that's attached, not the invoice. Where can we find the invoice? Our little drop down.
Mhm. Um, on the closed, is that what the question was? On the
Yeah,
closed?
so once it goes through to get paid, um, you can pull up and show you. It'll say she wants to know essentially where can you get a copy of that invoice as opposed to just a copy of the check.
Hmm. Um, okay. Whenever you might have the option, whenever you see the copy of the check, if there's a little drop down menu, look at your little. So whenever you see
Yes.
this little drop down box, these are basically all the attachments that are on that action item. So I would recommend checking there. So click your little drop down box, and then you can go to the actual invoice. That's going to be stored there as well.
Yep. So always check those drop down. I know I was in there the other day and I was looking and I'm like, this is a two pager. And then I had to remind myself, oh, click arrow. And then there was the multiple pages behind it in there. So that's a good question. Barbara also sent a really great question in an email in regards to the process to getting new owners on board with Vanica. So when we do send that welcome letter to the new owners, whether you're an oncoming or an onboarding client or a current client of ours now and you sold the property, in our welcome letter, we give the details. Hey, log in, and then you'll go in and get all set up and then cater it to how you as the individual homeowner want to receive your communications. So that's a great question because we really do try to push the portal for all new owners. We also have another owner that asked if this can be abbreviated for all homeowners who request training on the portal. So this is a good question. The little FAQ videos are really helpful when a homeowner is in here. As on clients come on too, we do offer, a course to um, show the portal and get your homeowners. But then again, it's only those homeowners that attend. And I'm sure you all, as board members, know it's the same few people that do attend the meetings, while you have still maybe over 100 homeowners that never attend. So that's a hard one. I think we are in some discussion about, possibly having Imran here maybe do a video and record a homeowner facing kind of Q&A that we might be able to place later on our website or YouTube channel. But it's a great idea and a great concept that we are thinking about and actively trying to, work on. So thank you for that. Let's see if we had any other ones. I don't want to leave any unanswered. Oh, what? A lot more just came in. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to read them too. So another homeowner or board member had a question about the AI system. So I can reach out to you later in regards to the phone issue, or if you want to email me for some communication on that, that's a really great idea. Maybe a webinar as well, as far as just different AI components. So that is a great one. Future. So can the 15-day action trigger be shortened? Waiting 2 weeks to find out if no action has occurred seems excessive.
Yeah, I was just using that as an example. Our action item, it's set to 7 days total, but most of the time our vendors are pretty good. They pretty much respond, immediately saying, "Yep, we'll schedule it," and then they let us know when the work was completed. But we have that 7 day grace period just in case we have that one vendor that isn't really strong on emails because speaking for some of the contractor or vendors I work with, I have a handful that are like that. They strictly want to either get a text message or just get a standard email from Outlook.
Agree. Trying to kind of push everybody to the system is,
Yeah.
uh, we're doing the best we can, but some of those vendors, you're right, won't go to it. So this says, if a request submitted 2 weeks ago now says escalate to manager, what does this mean? It tells the requester nothing.
Yeah, so if it's basically stuck at that escalated to manager, it's currently in the queue or sitting on the manager's dashboard. And that would have to be at the conversation that we would have to make sure that the manager's acting on those action items promptly right away. So it's not just sitting there aging and owners are wanting requests on what's going on.
Again, that transparency aspect is really great to have to be able to see that. Okay, does Alliant charge a fee for using auto pay or direct pay of quarterly fees?
That I'm not an expert on, but if I can get your information, yeah.
Well, I can give a little bit. So if you are setting up on Vanica in the reoccurring payments to their system, or if you do like a one-time payment, the credit card processor does charge a fee. I
Hmm.
believe one of the fees is $2.99. However, on our portals right now, there should be like a pinned detailed instruction how to set up for a reoccurring ACH pay. Let's see. I don't know if it's so that does not charge a fee.
Hmm.
So if you want to get with your CAM and they can work with your, the AIR team, we can send you over some detailed instructions. We've got a nice little PDF. Ask your CAM for a copy of it. And this is the sample community, so I do not believe it's pinned up to this. But if you were to go into, I was actually just in a community the other day, and it's still pinned up there with full directions on how to sign up for a completely free automatic withdrawal. But then again, that is ACH. So hopefully that helps. Let's see. Can we pull or delete messages and notices sent out by Alliant?
Not yet.
Yeah.
That hopefully down the road they will have the option to go ahead and delete the messages from your inbox. So for those who aren't sure what they're referring to on their inbox, basically here's all the any communications that were sent out, any violation emails, broadcast emails, basically any notification that's coming in, it comes here in the inbox section. Board members do want to have the option to go ahead and delete an email from 3 years ago that's just sitting in their inbox. Um, not at this time, but hopefully Vanica gets that situated for us as soon as possible.
Great possible enhancement.
Yep.
Good question. I know it's so wild as we are now learning the Vanica system internally, externally for homeowners and board members. I know that it is so robust. It is so transparent. It is all of these things. And I know sometimes it can be overwhelming. And then we have these ideas of other things that we want it to do. And
Mhm.
I'm having to remind myself that a lot of the other proprietary systems out there that we interviewed, and then our old system also today was like, wow, what
Yeah.
they couldn't do. So
Yep.
it's just such a funny situation to be in of this system that is exponentially greater than prior systems. And now we're like, wow, what enhancement can we do next? And there's so many ideas. There's so many great things. So we do appreciate
Yep.
those. And, we do have a really good relationship with Vanica. So anytime you guys get that idea, let us know. I'm not saying that it will be done, but if it's a great idea, they might take it into consideration.
All we could do is ask. But and again, this is why I think we're wanting to implement more of these trainings because we'd like to hear from the clients. We want to know what you want to see, whatever enhancements we can get over to Vanica and improve their system. Let's try to get it done.
Absolutely. I think this is a great idea. I think just seeing that, over 120 board members were in here at one time and the amount of questions, really great questions,
Yeah.
that have come through. This is something I think we should start looking at quarterly. We are going to record this. So, you guys, a lot of you, if you don't know me, you probably have my communications. Shoot me an email. I'm more than happy to send it over to you. Um, I don't know if you were done. I know that, oh, sorry, another questions came through.
Mm.
Who creates the financial reports? It'd be good to see month-to-month graph information on the balance sheet, cash reserves, etc. So the financial reporter does that, but also a good possibility. I think in some of those reports that Emron was showing us earlier, depending on the different type of financial report you want to pull, some of those do maybe not, some graphs, but some really nice pie charts
Mhm.
that can give you a good picture of the different things. So depending on what you're looking for, but that's a great question, David.
Yeah.
Um, so let's see. I don't know that I know we're kind of all over the place. This is our first one of these, so I really appreciate your patience trying to find what works because we do want all your questions heard.
Yep.
So, I don't know. Go on if you had some
Yeah.
other stuff to show. Sorry.
I just have three more tabs that we can go over right now. So we don't have any inspections for this community. This is actually a new function that they're implementing. So any inspections that were done by your manager, there's going to be basically reports that board members can pull. Let's say the manager was there uh, 2 weeks ago. You want to see what they found during their inspection. Once this is fully operational, you'll be able to select that inspection date and you can see all the violations that they documented that day. So this does look like they're close to finalizing that. I wish it wasn't visible just yet, but hopefully this gets finalized as soon as possible. This next tab, you have your violations. So here is actually all the open violations for the community. Um, Go ahead, customize your columns to your liking. And then here is where you can see the violation. Here's a copy of our old letterhead, basically the notice getting sent to the owner for their dirty roof. If there was any pictures, it would be here in the drop-down menu. And then on these columns, you can organize it by the step. So right now, this one's just add a courtesy letter, but you will see all the different steps you have created for your community. So courtesy letters, a violation letter, fine hearing, or fine imposed, all that information is available for the board members. And then the same thing, come to your close section, and then you can sort it for the last 36 or look at all the closed violations. And then here you have your board member how-to videos. So these are going to be the similar videos for the owners. So here we have all these different types of videos that were created by Vantaca for you to, if you need to know how to perform certain board actions. If you start to see, or if you see a video that you will, or if you don't see a video, but you think that something should be added, let us know. We will see if Vanica can go ahead and create a video and assign it on this tab. And then down here is your My Profile section. Here's where you can add your contact information, emails, addresses, phone numbers. You can mark it as a primary. When you're clicking on the address section, you have where you can mark it as a mailing address. Go ahead and label it and fill out all your information, and you can press add. If you are needing to just edit your primary contact information, you can, as long as you see this little pencil, go ahead and press that pencil, and then all these tabs, uh, well, your primary mailing address, it may be blocked off if you don't have a secondary address, but if you do have a secondary address, then you'll have the option to edit your primary. And then the same thing goes for your phone and email. Click on your little pencil, and then you can update that information. Your login info, this is the tab where you can update your password. So you just enter in your current password that you're using to get into your portal, add your new password, retype it in the confirm new password, and then press your save changes. And then your account preferences. This is the page I was referring to earlier when we were going over the directory. Here's where you can set your communication preferences. This owner, my board member, wants to get their billing communication via paper. Let's go ahead and change the communication preference for their general communication preference to email. If you would like to get payment confirmation emails, go ahead and check that off. Right now, we do have this payment reminder text disabled on a lot of accounts, but if you are an owner who wants to go ahead and get those texts, go ahead and check that off. Provide your number. And then this directory section, this is up here in this directory. This is where you can show or hide your name and show your number, email address, and mailing address, or hide them all. And once you select everything that you need, just press update. and then it's updated automatically. So that is your homeowner portal. You're muted.
Go figure.
Yeah.
A few more questions. So the follow-up is always empty, no date. Sometimes it is sitting there for a while. Who does the follow-up, Cam, or do we have to ask?
Whoever it was last assigned to, the follow-up is going to get assigned back to that person, either the manager or the admin.
Yep. So, sorry, were you done? I
Oh
interrupted.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The other one is we have a board task tab. Please explain each function.
The board task, it's basically just an indicator. It's like a summary of everything that you have being shown on your dashboard. Uh, so basically, any notifications you see on your board actions down here, those are technically what they say your task is. If that community would like that board task tab removed, just let us know the name of the association and I can go ahead and remove that little tab. It's basically just, like I said, it's a summary of the tasks that are open, like your ARC application or your invoices that are open.
Awesome. So we have a few more. I do want to make one note. So some of you are asking if you only received this invite to the webinar yesterday. So we actually sent this a few weeks ago, like I said, via Constant Contact. Emron and I were really excited about today. So we actually then duplicated that same invitation in Vanica to see whether it hits you quicker. And I think a lot of you received it that way. That being said, if you want to shoot me an email directly, I think a lot of you have it. If not, I do have it posted up in the chat where you can send me an email and I can make sure that you are on our constant contact list. We generally try and keep all board members on that list as well as in our Vanica system. Um, I know sometimes when it's a mass produced email like that, constant contact might go to your spam and your Vanica, since you're as a board member, you're working with us in Vanica daily or weekly, that might have come through. So I want to make sure you guys get all of our invitations to our webinars. We've done a few really, really great ones. I think this one might be my favorite so far because we're learning an application we utilize. And Emron, you're the
Mhm.
best. So, again, shoot me an email if you only received this via Vanica, and I'll double check those constant contacts to make sure because I believe the way we're looking right now is we're shooting out about 2 webinars a month, not always, depending on like what we're working with, whether it's hurricane season, budget preparations. We did a really great one a few weeks ago when windows and doors, that's not ever touched as much. So we really, our goal is to educate you. So that also being said, that was just my little sidebar because I see a few of you, really liking this and wanting more details. We're back to our Q&A. Can I update my address in my profile, and how do I do that? The save on this particular board member is grayed out, so I don't know if you want to like review that real quick so that we can see what's going on with her.
Yes, like I mentioned, if you don't have a secondary address added, that could be causing the problem. So my recommendation would be to add your new address under Add Contact Info right here. Select your address, mark it as your mailing address. Your label could be new mailing address. Add the information. And then once that's done, your mailing address gets updated to the new one that you just added. hopefully that helps. Uh,
See, there's another one. Okay. So, is there a section to document the vendor contracts and contract amounts? Absolutely. Under the documents, we can create it. There's a folder. There he is.
right here under documents,
Documents,
contracts.
contracts.
Yep.
So you want to take a look and review and then make sure that we get everything updated on there with those contract amounts and costs. So there's the sample of their landscape agreement. Let's see. Can a board member update the status of a work order request and have it go to the owner? Currently, we have to update the email, the CAM's notified the owner. This is double work.
It looks like
Yeah.
it would be a possibility. It would have to add the owner on that step for the portal replies. So yeah, I mean that is a good option because we do have some board members who are involved and they want to help out as much as possible. So that is a good point.
There's another question in regards to Allie, our in-call chatbot. I know
Mhm.
this is not like the platform for that conversation, but I do appreciate the call, the question. They kind of asked if we can give the CAM phone numbers. So we actually don't give the CAM phone numbers to the homeowners. However, as a board member, if you need a copy of the roster contract sheet, ask your CAM and we'll get it over to you. It has, you as a board member, the CAM cell phone number, because you have access to that, the direct contact for, our team support, whether it's your AR coordinator or the controller, things of that nature is on there. We really, really do want to push portal usage to the homeowners. We understand that sometimes a call is great, but just so you are aware, when they do hit the live agent or leave a message, they go in and they create a call or a walk-in or an email in our Vantaca portal. So that triggers and goes through the internal process to the CAM. So we're saving all that information, which is just a giant transparent, record keeper of the communication with your owners. So I know that's not what you necessarily wanted to hear, but I just wanted to give you that information. And if you want to reach out to your CAM and say, hey, maybe I don't have your cell phone, maybe you're a new board member, make sure your CAM gets it to them and they'll do that. So let me see this. Who adds the contracts to the portal, the CAM or the board?
Actually, both board members have the access to upload files and rename files on the document section. So if you have a contract that you don't see on this document section, press your upload file, go ahead and drag and drop that file and press upload. As soon as you press upload, it's available for all the owners immediately. It doesn't take 24 hours to sync like some of the older systems that we had. It's just immediately available. And then if you ever see a contract uh, that you need to just rename, press your little three dots, click rename, change the name of the file. Um, Board members don't have access to delete files. So whenever you see a file that needs to get deleted, we would request that you just label it to delete me and then let us know whatever folder that file is in, and then we delete it on our end. So it's no longer there.
I really do love anywhere you see like the three dots is
Yeah.
like that's your best friend. If you
Mhm.
click those dots, and you drop it down and you can filter how you want to do it. You can save your grid setting. It's almost like a giant Excel spreadsheet in some of these areas, obviously not in this one. But I think if you're familiar with that, that can be really helpful. Um, so three little dots, those are your friends. Click
Yep.
those. That's what I say to everything. We have some other more ones. Where on Vanica can I find a community owner summary showing account number, name, address, phone, email of all owners? This is a good location for you to use my favorite three little dots to show them how they can filter just that.
Yep. So under board actions, if you click homeowners, these are all the homeowners that live inside your association. If what I also recommend you doing is if you are a large community, go ahead and update your showing to the largest number that's available. Once you have that done, just press save grid settings so that you don't have to constantly do that. Because, we have some clients that are over 1,000 doors. So try to make sure all your owners are try to make sure as many homeowners are visible on one page. It's just going to save you time. But here on this homeowner page, those three dots, click that and then choose your column. And then you can select all the columns that you want to be shown or even remove them. So click those. I want to see their lot number. I want to see what their phone numbers are. I want to see if they're in collections. And I want to see if they have any tenants. So once I have this layout completed, save your grid settings so that every time you log in and you come to this homeowner section, this page stays the exact same.
That's great. I think those three little dots and the ability to build certain reports in certain areas to your individual liking is probably one of my favorite things about Vanica. Um, and you export it, you can do all sorts of things with us. I think there was a question earlier about how they used to see something under this particular section. If you used to see something in a portal and now it's gone, the likelihood of it being gone is possible, but it's slim. So if you're missing something, reach out to your CAM, and your CAM can always get with like myself or Imran or one of our other few Vanica experts that we have on staff to show you. It just might have, they might have done another enhancement that put it in another area. So I don't
Mhm.
think that Vanica is necessarily taking things away. They're just giving more and it just might be hidden. So if you're missing something, let us know and we'll be happy to try and make sure we find that for you. So another question is, can a homeowner change the name of the owner, like an LLC rather than a person's name?
No, that has to be done on our end.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we want to make sure our records reflect the appraiser, the county appraiser's office, unless we of course get the correct information and documents. But yeah, to answer your question, that's an Alliant thing.
Yeah. We like Imran said, we do go by what Lee County tax appraisers is. So if you have updated in there, maybe there was a quick claim deed to update an owner or change it to a trust, let us know to make sure that we're appropriately updating that. Just like you would any of your other utility bills. You go north, update the address. You go south, you got a new email, change it in there. So that's one of our biggest things, let us know these things so we can make sure
Yeah.
it's current. I think we've kind of hit all the questions. Emra, I don't know if there's anything else you want to show. I don't think there's anything you missed.
Mhm. Now, I just want to make sure, board members, please speak up if if you found this, valuable. If you learned things, please let us know because we want to make sure that we're providing these courses and classes as much as possible.
Yeah. You can put your question in the Q&A. So we do have someone that, why is this so complicated to understand? Hmm. I don't know if I have an answer to that. I think some people do find this to be really, really easy,
Mhm.
while others might find it a little bit cumbersome because there is so many different things you can do. I think that kind of is a testament to, what I was saying earlier with a lot of the prior systems held so little to do that.
Mhm.
Um, And now this is so robust, which might make it intimidating for some board members and some homeowners alike. So I can understand the frustration in there. I think at this point there is no
Hmm.
real right answer or winning
Yeah.
scenario just due to the fact that some boards and communities really, really want to embrace technology in the way of the world and have all these different applications, while others, they want simplicity and to enjoy their time on the golf course or the tennis court and not have all this. So I wish I had a better answer for that.
Mhm.
But you know,
And
if you need
that's the
extra
truth.
help, you can always reach out to me and I can always try and see what I can do. And I just realized Tom is going to, you know, kill me off stage. Just kidding, he won't. Such a nice guy. He's asked a few times in regards to search by address for violations. So I want to make sure we get that. I said we were going to get there and we haven't got there. And yes, Steve, I do want the cannoli recipe. Please give that to me. I love a cannoli.
Sure. Under your violations tab, I will go ahead. My recommendation, add your column for your property address. Once you have that shown, of course, make sure your grid settings are saved. And then you can go ahead and sort the address. If you click the middle of the column, it sorts it and it goes based off the unit address or the unit number. And then if you had, 17 violations under your community, as long as it's sorted under your property address, you can filter it that way, or you can actually type in the number and then it'll take you straight to that violation.
Tom, hopefully we got you there. He said thanks. So glad we could help. Um, Another request, this might be not for you specifically, Emron, but maybe you in the corner, that we do one of these presentations really specific for treasurer. I'm gonna write that down.
Okay.
Thanks, Tracy. That's a really good idea. I remember in our old systems, and then another program that we kind of interviewed for this, the system was like run report, and that was it. And as you showed us earlier, the amount of reports that the board members have the individual capability to run is really, really wide. So as a treasurer, you might want to know more or figure out what's going to be the best report for you to run for your specific community given your community's needs. So I think that's a really great idea, and I'll definitely bring that up to the team to see if that's an idea that we can maybe present at a later date. So thank you for that. Um,
And I mean, and my recommendation, we can try to find, our team members that specifically are accounting or stronger in accounting, and get them involved in these kind of trainings. Because
100%.
I'm familiar for, on the management and operations side. Uh, Accounting's
Same,
not my strong point.
same. But I will say, as we speak, a lot of our financial reporters and our accounting team are in their own webinar learning a lot of really great stuff from one of our local attorneys. So hopefully they've got some great education they're learning while we're in here learning this. So it's great. Well, we have gone over our kind of allotted time, and that is okay. If we did this all day, I would be fine with it because it's extremely informative, and I'm really, really pleased of what such a huge attendance that we had. And I want to thank, all of you for investing in your community and coming and joining this webinar and then asking these questions and then, wanting more of these. So this is a testament to you board members for who you are and who you care for your communities you care about. And I really, really want to thank Emron for taking the time to share his expertise with us today. I really appreciate your willingness to walk through this portal and give us some practical tips and help. I work in this daily too, and you taught me things and I was like, "Oh, didn't know that little button was there." So I really, really, really appreciate it. For all of you, who attended, if you have my email is in the chat. If you have a question in regards to this or you want to remind me, because there's so many of you here and we have other board members who weren't able to attend who want this, I can guarantee you I will not remember to individually send it to you. So this should become live in the cloud in a few hours. That's Zoom kind of takes that long. Shoot me an email and I can just copy and paste it right back to you. I try to be really communicative as much as I quickly as I can. We will be posting this, on our Facebook page, our YouTube channels, and we're gonna get to work on some of your ideas for some future webinars. So also reach out to your CAM. CAM, I attended this webinar. It was really helpful. Let's get us to a point where we're utilizing the ARC task page or the work orders better, more efficient. Is it our vendor? Do they not want to do it? Let's bridge some gaps here. Let's make it work to see if we can make everything work for your community. So that being said, thank you guys so much for being with us, and we really hope to see you at a future Alliant webinar and maybe another one of this magnitude, or maybe for your treasurers, one on financial reporting. But thanks, Imran. Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, everybody.
Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Appreciate it. Bye, all.